where we say one life of freedom outweighs a life full of subjugation and lies, and where the soldiers can, coming from the war, remove their armor, drop their swords, and have conversations with like-minded men. And indeed, gentlemen, once again, I'm at your service, dispelling the lies and offering a little bit of truth in a world full of madness and psychos. It's been a while, gentlemen, and for all of you who are wondering where I've been all this time, then you, my friend, are not tapped in. If you want to hear more frequent videos, I have a new channel that I've created. Plenty of videos there. That's where I've been. I'll leave the link in the description. It's the Ghost of TMT. Go over there and subscribe, like videos, go ahead and binge watch what's over there. It's probably the channel's been alive for about 3 months now. It's about 2,000 subs over there, so go ahead and help that channel grow. Also, if you've been wondering where I've been, go out and check out the Patreon of probably one of the best Patreon channels that are out as far as content and consistency. I've had that Patreon probably for almost 3-4 years, I think, and that thing is filled to the brim with content, long form, just like you know how I do it. It's almost 400, almost 500 videos, some crazy number on there, I forget, but for the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to whatever. You can pay whatever you want to support, but you can always join us however you want. I just like to keep it open-ended and let brothers be able to gain access. I know I've seen other Patreons where people are charging $20, $50, and $100, crazy numbers, you know, and I guess it is what it is, but I never looked at it like that. You have options to do what you want, you know, over there. So anyway, I just wanted to offer that little plug, that little shameless plug before we get started. And I want to also start by saying I hope all of you brothers who are hearing my voice for the first time in a long time since my last video, because you haven't found the new channel, that I hope all is well. Hope you're having a great start to a year and everything that you are gunning for. You got your sights locked on and you're going to get it done. In this video, I'm just going to tell you right now, just don't take things personal these days. I realize that a lot of men in today's society are operating with outdated firmware when it comes to how they approach the modern relationship dynamic, even with people for the most part. A lot of men don't know how to turn that part off, especially dealing with women. You got to understand that in every way, you are the dominant. You are a superior being, right? And the older you get, the wiser you get, the more you acquire as far as things you've obtained for yourself to build yourself a peaceful and fruitful life. You know, these things, they create a different version of you. And as you get older, you start to realize, and I've started to realize, that it's a rare thing. And no, it's not even a rare thing. Most times when you deal with most people that you haven't vetted, most women that you haven't vetted, that, you know, you're not going to meet people on your level. You're not going to meet women on your level. And most times they're not even going to be pretty much worthy of you, no matter how she looks or how she proclaims to be this ultra diva, you know, magnanimous blessing to you. You have to realize that she's not going to be really deserving of all of the things that you've acquired, your wisdom, and most times they're going to disappoint you, right? You can put a lot of effort and time into building and teaching and guiding, right? But in today's modern woman is fractured. And if you're a complete and whole man, a spiritual man, a wise man, a very in tune man in his self, in his discipline, in his thinking, she's going to disappoint you. And no matter where you go, you're dealing with fractured women that just are incomplete. They've been chasing the things in life that do not develop, that do not offer anything to most human beings, right? The chase of the flesh, the pleasures. That's been her main goal, is luxury and opulence, even though it's under a false pretense. And when they meet you, especially if you've been on these different journeys of a man's life, right? Sometimes it's a coming of age journey where you're going from a young man into being a man, and that journey in and of itself is the first journey that we all take. And that journey is usually the trial by fire that we all have to endure. And then when you get out of your 20s and you reach your 30s, you start to reach this state of building, where you start to, instead of getting and acquiring and failing and starting over like you would do in your 20s, you start to get some momentum. You start to build and you start to add on, and life gets a little easier. You start to recognize patterns in yourself of things that caused you failures, and you start to improve on your routines, and the things you do start to, they start to gain. You start to build on top of things. You start to add on, as they used to say in the 5% world, right? You adding on and you keep adding on. You start to see that you're accumulating a life that is starting to take form, take shape. And that journey right there is the building phase, where you start to build and you start to create, and things start to come together. Careers and ideas and businesses start to take shape, and you start to become more focused, and you have like a streamlined lifestyle, And once you leave that phase, if you haven't got a wife or kids at that point, and you're still a man on that journey, and it's a beautiful journey, you get into the stage where you get into your late 30s and your late 40s, and you get into the peaceful stage. That's the stage where you start to reap the benefits of all the work and all the trials that you've survived. And then you start to get to the point where you start to have this tranquil life that you designed from the floor up, and you have a system, and you have a way to exist, and you have more freedom as far as your finances. You're traveling more, you're dining out more, you're experiencing more things, right? A couple of weeks ago, I'll give you an example. As you guys know, I don't live in the States. And even though I could have taken the route of a lot of other men overseas and displayed every nook and cranny of my life, it's really just a very simple existence. I'm not a party guy. I'm not a wild animal that's jumping out in the streets and showing off every woman I deal with and all that kind of stuff. I kind of passed that phase in life. I still enjoy the company of women, but it's under very strict pretenses now. But I'll tell you what I did do that I do enjoy now. I've always had an undying love for music, all kinds of music, right? I've experienced music of different genres up close and personal on my walks of life. And I've always been a lover of jazz and music and instruments. And out here, they have a Blue Note Cafe, right? Which is a jazz club. There's plenty of them in America, I think. but they have a Blue Note Jazz Cafe. And maybe like 3 weeks ago, I took myself there because there was a quartet band and a singer there that I remember seeing a while ago. And sometimes I just look at the website to see who's going to be there, and I'll just go, right? And I'll just get myself a nice little seat, nice lighting, good drinks, food, and the environment is pretty chill. And that is something I always enjoy. It's like a treat for myself. You know, I've went there with women in the past, but I've realized, and this is my point, I've realized that I don't meet women that appreciate something like that, right? And when you become a man of diverse tastes and you realize that the things you like don't align with most modern young women, even women into their older ages, that something like jazz is, their tastes have been tainted by like hip hop and rap music all their lives, and they really don't know about something so refined as artistic as a good jazz performance. And I realized that I was wasting that on them. And one time I just decided to go by myself, probably like 6 months, a year ago. I decided to go by myself. I stopped inviting women, and I just started to go there myself, because also, if I'm going to go to a place like that, and if I was to meet a woman, wouldn't I want to meet a woman that's already there? You understand? So it really woke me up about something. Like, it really gave me an idea that certain aspects of a man's life, when he gets to that point and he becomes more refined, if you like fine cigars and you like art and you like, you know, certain music, certain cuisines, that it's nothing wrong with enjoying those things by yourself. And I was always a young guy who was under depression. I felt weird doing certain things alone or with, you know, close comrades that y'all share the same vision or the same taste in, you know, nice things. I have friends who love cigars, and they always invite me to cigars, but I tell them I don't like cigars. I never did. I never will. You know, it's not my thing. But that's something that's different. You know, a lot of guys like cigars, but when you get to that point, my point is, when you get to that point when you're in your late 30s, your 40s, the things that you used to like, you start to refine it. You know, I used to like a lot of hip hop. Now my palate for hip hop is so refined that I just don't listen to anything, right? And sometimes your palate for, like, say, if you like whiskey or whatever you like to drink, right? You like a certain kind, you know, some of these bottles of the better brands of these drinks, you know, they're expensive, and you don't, and you like to enjoy fine things like that on your own dime, and I don't think it's something that you want to share with your average bird out there that been drinking Tonys and cheap liquor and booze and crap and all her life, and you want to give her some you know, Macallans or something, like really aged fine whiskeys. Like, you know, you don't waste that on that. Like I said, most of them don't deserve the life and the things that a sophisticated, classy gentleman, a thinking man even offers, right? So don't take it personal, and don't take even them and how they perceive you personal, because a lot of women in today's age, they fantasize of a certain kind of guy. They have this fantasy of what a man is when he reaches this point in his life, and they feel like these benefits are something that they would love to be around. Now, of course, there are women that have been raised right, and they've been taught well, and they understand that. But here's the thing: those women, more than likely, it'll be rare for you to meet them at your age, because they would already be taken. They will already have sought out that man and grown with him to this stage in his life. Then you're not just gonna meet them at this point. It's probably a ruse. It's not really who she is. She's just pretending to fit in with you. And again, when you reach this point, a lot of them think they believe that this guy is something that they will want, but what they've been raised on and what they find entertainment or dining or experiences, a lot of them it won't even line up, man. If they've been listening to Beyonce and Sexy Red and Cardi B for the last 8 years of her life, right, or 10 years of since she was young, how is she going to meet in a place and go to a jazz restaurant or a jazz bar or listening to bands, great bands, jazz music? What are you bringing her there for, right? What are you bringing her there? Why are you taking her to not a bar, but to a there's a word for like high-end drink making. I forgot, cosmopolitan or whatever it's called, I forget. If you know the word, just tell me. Mixology, right? There's these fine bars in Sao Paulo. They're very quaint. They're not huge bars like with loud music and wild environments, right? That's where a lot of women like to be. These are very quaint bars in the city, in downtown, where you could go. It might be a corner, and you walk into these bars, and they have this fine layout. It looks real posh, and it's very small. It might have just enough room for maybe 15 people, 20 people at the most, right? And you sit in these bars and you can get, Japanese whiskeys, all type of crazy, beautifully crafted drinks right in front of you by these like top tier bartenders or mixologists. And, that's a place that you will go and you settle in on an evening where you just wanted to get out the house and hear some cool music, not loud, very sultry sound music, and drink, have a nice drink, and maybe you want to have a cigar somewhere, and you want to look at the art on the walls and have conversations with interesting people, right? You're not gonna take a lot of these girls that want to go to raves and be drunk and high and out of their mind everywhere they go, right? Why? You understand? When you get to that point, most of them are going to disappoint you. So don't take it personal when you just don't line up with them, or they feel like you don't line up with them. Don't take it personal. Subconsciously, most men, when they do start to mature, most young men, when they become actualized men, right? I'm telling you, a lot of things about you transform. And you won't even know what's going on. You just know your taste start to change, right? So when you're out there and you're making moves and you're changing your life, you're changing your environment, you got to realize that, a lot of women live in a world of chaos. They live in a world of struggle, abandonment, heartbreak, brokenness, fractured natures. And you live a life of peace. You live a life of routine. It's not complicated. You go and come as you please. You have a very quiet, organized home. You understand? A lot of these girls got kids running around screaming out of control, men hurting them in and out. You got to understand how chaotic the average single modern woman's life really is. They don't even know what peace is. Peacefulness is not even a concept to most of them, right? They have to fill in every blank with some kind of noise. You understand? They have to fill in all the blanks. They can't have just silence. I can go in my home and have complete silence. Outside of the ambiance outside of my home or out in the city, I can have complete and utter silence in my home, right? I don't have to hear anything. I can sit and look out on the city and relax and look and just stare and watch and think. And I don't need to have any conversation. I don't need to have anything going on if I don't choose to, right? I can leave the hustle and bustle of the world and come home to silence and peace. And a lot of women just don't have that. And they can't offer that. So a creature that doesn't even have peace in their own life, how can they bring you something like that? So that's what I'm saying. Don't take it personal when they disappoint you. It's not meant to be something that you get upset about. It's just something you accept. You accept it as what it is. And that's perfectly fine, right? You just got to know what you're dealing with. Because a lot of men, we are emotional creatures, but we're a different kind of emotion, right? We deal with more deeper versions of it. It's not something that will show on the outside. It's something that will sit inside you, a little small feeling. And a lot of men feel when these interactions with women don't work out, they take it personal. Listen, don't take it personal. You got to understand that men who are actualized, how intimidating, how that just doesn't fit the mold anymore of what these women even have dealt with the majority of their lives. They're coming pre-fondled, pre-touched, pre-smashed, pre-dated, pre-loved, pre-everything. They pre-had kids. Like there's a point when you got to understand that there's no point in taking anything that happens between you and any girl that you date for a couple of weeks or months or whatever, and when it falls apart, you don't take it personal. You just assume, you just understand that there's a place where you exist, that most of them, the air up there is too thin, right? They can't breathe. It's like they can't exist. It's like, they're going up Mount Everest and they get to a point where they can't hack it. And they rather just jump off the side of the mountain and plummet to their fate, as opposed to the climb to the levels that you exist at every day. When it comes to your psyche and your thinking and your peaceful, tranquil life and the disciplines and the routines that you created, how can they add to something like that, right? Most of them live in such a chaotic, unstable world that it's like something that looks like that it looks like they're standing at the bottom and staring at the summit of a mountain, and it's like, how can I climb this? How can I even maintain this? What if I fall? They're thinking in that way. You see, a lot of men don't have the confidence to let a lot of women look at men that have their life together, and when they don't, they realize, like, they know subconsciously, they think to themselves, like, what is he's gonna leave me one day. He's just gonna break up with me one day. Like, how am I gonna keep a man like that happy? They think these things. They believe these things. They tell themselves these things, right? But they mask it, right? So when they do bail, and they'll find any reason to bail. It could be something small. They do that to to basically avoid that rejection that they have been telling themselves is on the horizon, it's the inevitable, right? They know that they're not the woman that you really need. They know that. But they can only keep up the facade for so long, right? You know, like I said, it's like you take the girl to the jazz bar and she's pretending to like the jazz, but she doesn't understand it. The beat is too chill. It's not an 808. She's not vibing with it, but she can pretend to vibe with it because the photos that she can take for Instagram can make her appear to look more refined than she is. The fine beverages that they make, she can pretend to like it, even though she wants some sweet garbage liquor, some bottom shelf garbage. She can pretend to like the high-end stuff, but she really doesn't understand what the quality of these experiences is. So she knows that one day you're going to discover that she's a fraud, right? So she's going to act like you're not, she's going to try to get the right to refusal so that she doesn't get to the top of that summit and then you throw her off the mountain, right? Or you make her have to climb back down alone after you've brought her up so high. It's like they know that. So they'll try to sabotage things before they get so high that they can't get back down, or they getting back down is going to hurt more than going back up, right? You got to always know that women, they know how to play. Their egos are very big. I believe they're bigger than men's egos, honestly, right? Because you have to be a very egotistical creature to, in your mind, believe that they're under no circumstances, no matter how single, how lonely, how anything, and you would never approach or speak to a man unless he's like an Adonis, right? But a guy that you see is handsome, he looks, they'll let you walk right by him, and it's almost like that's ego. That means their ego is bigger than ours, because men will humble themselves and walk up to a strange woman, and despite all that fear, however they feel, and take the risk of being rejected, because that man is making himself vulnerable. He's being humble in that moment. And sometimes I believe that women, they don't want to feel like they failed, or they're not to your level, so they always try to circumvent that by doing a preempted like they'll try to knock you out of the contention, even though they know that they were never competing with you anyway. So when that happens, a lot of men need to not take that personal. You need to realize what's going on, especially if you check all boxes. That's the saddest part. A lot of men get their ego bruised because a woman who wasn't on their level rejected them. But remember, her rejection isn't real. It's false. Her rejection is more like an ejection. It's like she hit the eject button, to get out of Dodge. It's not anything. I mean, sometimes these women they'll do anything to prevent a real heartbreak of a man looking them in their eyes and saying, me and you, I cannot, you're not the woman I want. I cannot, you're going to cause me more strife, and you're taking away my peace, and you've become a hindrance on my life. We can no longer continue. That's really what a man says when he leaves a woman, right? Like, you're becoming a burden to me. You're becoming a factor of stress that I didn't have before. And you gotta understand, women know that. They'd be like, oh, I'm a brat, and I'm a this, and I'm a that, and I'm a, women like to take on these, they like to brag about having these characteristics of a child, right? A child, a little girl. And they think that that's cool, that's cute, right? But when you get around a man whose life is like completely organized and peaceful, they know that there's going to be a point when she's just disrupting that. And you're eventually going to tell her, there's nothing here for you anymore. And I need you to go back to your life of whatever it is, because you are fucking up my frequency here, right? And that is something that is very, very, it's detrimental. It breaks a lot of women, man, because when they do meet men like this, it's usually rare, right? And when they do let themselves get involved with men like that, it's usually not their normal situation, right? They usually like men that they feel like they're better than. But when they get around a man that they know is better than them, right? When they know that he has more, his life is more established, he has everything on point and in order, they are walking on eggshells, because they feel like at any point this can go left, and they know that. So when that man actually acts on that, it's like a hit at her character, right? It's like, damn, I can't even fit around a guy who's established and mature. What does that say about me? And then they got to think about what they have to go back to when they have to realize their level. That's really what it is. They realize their level is probably the guy who has nothing going on and the bum, and they, you know, they rather just eject as opposed to hearing that from you, right? So don't take all of this personal, man. Especially you younger brothers. You younger guys in your 20s and stuff like that, and you get in there and you building, don't take it personal, man. Like, it doesn't matter. A lot of your interactions with women that you feel, that you allow to get in your emotions and get you in your feelings, brother, you won't even remember that shit 2 years from now. You understand? A lot of the women you won't even, when you reach my age, you won't even be able to recall, outside of photos, you won't even be able to recall the details of a face if you don't follow her online or have pictures of your exes in your phone. I don't keep stuff like that. I don't have keepsakes of old women that I've dealt with or dated. Even if we taken photos, once we cross that barrier, I delete everything, right? I don't keep that stuff, you know. And I'm telling you, there's going to be a point when you're not even going to be able to really remember what she looks like. You know, you're going to forget her. You're going to forget everything about her. And she's just going to be a distant memory a distant memory that's just going to randomly pop up. And you're going to be like, oh, I remember her. And you're just going to carry on with your day. So don't take it personal, man. It's all right. You got to just know where all this comes from and know the phase and the stage of life that you're at, and know that whatever struggle you're dealing with, we've all been there. And when you reach that point of the peace, and the goal is to get to the peaceful part quicker, the sooner the better. You know what I mean? When you create a life that you have peace and enjoyment, and everything is the way you want it to be, right? So I just wanted to leave you with that. And also I wanted to remind you, gentlemen, again, if you like the content, you like the video, go ahead and subscribe to my new channel. The link will be in the description, as well as the comments, pinned comments, as well as the Patreon and all that good stuff. Come join us over there, brothers. It's a new chapter for me. The channel's growing pretty significantly. I wouldn't say it's blown up, but it's steadily in growth at all times. The videos get viewed, people enjoy them, and I love the idea of starting a channel. This one has been, long demonetized, even though it still gets views here and there. But I just like the idea of starting fresh, right? So I want you brothers to be safe. I know it's been a long time, but like I said, I'm around. You just got to come look for me. Again, this is your boy TMT. Stay blessed. Peace.